love you. Let's get married.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
It's your job to go out, right? Promise me you'll come back.
Pretty special, actually, because you feel a kind of a responsibility to tell it right, and it's also that you know, you never have that flicker of like, do I believe this, because you know it's true and you know you have to, and it kind of forces you to bring a bit of more integrity to your own performance, I think, as well. I mean, every character's different, and it also, I think the time frame, the period also has a lot to do with it, only because of not just the kind of physicality of how she looks, but the kind of the mindset of the time. And so for me, it was amazing playing a character that, from the mindset of the 1950s, that completely defies any social conventions and has such a kind of a self-assurity and a confidence to do that, and to, you know, to be the girl that proposes to her boyfriend, and to be the girl who waltzes into the office of her fiance and makes demands. And I think that was quite special to take on that role. I obviously had to do a lot of research for accent, because as you can hear, I'm not from Boston or the Cape or anywhere around there. But for me, the most kind of helpful bit of research was I went to Chatham and with my dialect coach, I met Patty, who is Bernie and Miriam's daughter, who gave me a tour of Chatham. And so I found out firsthand all about the story and the events of that day, and got a chance to see the actual boat and to step on the boat and to kind of get a sense of that kind of culture and time. But also, initially for accent, really, Patty introduced me to a contemporary of Miriam's, who ended up being so incredibly helpful for me in getting the mindset of the kind of the strength and the composure of the kind of the 1950s woman. And so it ended up being like, that was a super helpful research trip. I sort of kind of came away from that few days thinking, I kind of have an idea of who I want Miriam to be now, and potentially maybe who she was. It was so important for the movie that we shot on location, I think, and for the location, for the time, for the and for the I feel like the weather kind of has its own character in this, the kind of, you know, the Mother Nature's force. But it was cold. I mean, we were doing a lot of night shoots, so it was kind of, I was in this little tiny dress until like, you know, 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and you know, as you saw the sun go below the horizon, you could literally feel the temperature drop. So believe it or not, underneath that skin-tight dress, I managed to squeeze, like, I think it's 2 layers of thermals and a heated wetsuit that you know, that pumped heat around my body. I had like a little switch dangling between my legs under my skirt, so I could like control the temperature. It was pretty much a lifesaver, actually. I don't think like it would have been pretty hard to like get any kind of words out had I not been wearing the, you know, the heated army grade wetsuit. Both Cinderella and The Finest Hours are kind of my only 2 studio movies, so like the scale of it is comparable, because they were both kind of huge, amazing sets and like epic crews, and you know, it was. But I mean, as terms of like the process and filming, I mean, they couldn't be more different. You know, with Cinderella, we shot all in the studio, whereas my experience on this was like mainly on location, and to kind of and it's a different experience, like character-wise, to kind of, for this, I felt like I needed to, it wasn't just about me and what I wanted to do, it was like trying to maintain some sort of integrity for the family of the person I'm trying to portray, and or just like knowing that it's a real events, and you kind of, you have a bit of a responsibility there, whereas and Cinderella, it was kind of like carte blanche to be as like silly as you wanted and it was up to Ken to rein it in.